phone buzzed again. A number I now knew by heart. I glared at the screen, my textbook on torts mocking me from the desk. This was the 5th call in an hour, and I swear to God, if one more person asked me if I had anchovies, I was going to lose it. My name's Aubrey, and normally my biggest daily struggle is understanding the nuances of contract law. But today I was apparently running a pizza joint, and I was over it. It all started innocently enough, just a few hours ago. I was deep in the zone, my brain practically humming with legal precedents when my phone rang. Unknown number. I usually ignore those, but something nudged me to pick it up. "Hello," I said, trying to sound professional, because you never know, it could be a professor or something. A gruff voice boomed, "Yeah, is this Sal's Pizza Palace?" I actually blinked. No, this is Aubrey. You've got the wrong number." I figured it was just a simple mistake. People dial wrong numbers all the time, right? I hung up and dove back into my reading. 10 minutes later, same unknown number? I sighed, picking up again. "You've still got the wrong number," I stated, a little more curtly this time. "So you don't have my pepperoni order ready?" the voice insisted, sounding genuinely confused, like I was the one making the mistake. "I don't have any pizza, sir. I'm a law student. This is my personal phone," I explained, trying to inject a dose of sanity into the call. He grunted something unintelligible and hung up. Okay, weird. Maybe he was really high. Then the calls started coming in rapid-fire succession. The same damn number. Each time, Sal's Pizza Palace, or is this where I order a Hawaiian, or my personal favorite? "You guys gonna deliver my deep dish or what?" My polite wrong number turned into an exasperated "I am not a pizza place," which quickly devolved into me just staring at the caller ID, letting it ring out, hoping they'd get the hint. But they didn't. The buzzing became a rhythmic torture, a relentless interruption to my meticulously planned study schedule. My focus was shattered. I could feel my blood pressure climbing. Who were these people? And how on earth did they all have my number? Was there a typo on a flyer somewhere? Did some prankster put my number on a pizza box? The sheer absurdity of it, coupled with my mounting frustration, pushed me over the edge. The phone rang again, same number. I snatched it up, a mischievous, slightly unhinged grin spreading across my face. "Welcome to Aubrey's Abysmal Abominations. How can I help you?" I said, deepening my voice slightly, putting on a ridiculously cheerful customer service persona. There was a moment of silence on the other end, then the gruff voice from before. Yeah. Can I get a large pepperoni, extra cheese, no anchovies, and make it snappy? I've been waiting forever." "Oh, this was good. Absolutely, sir. Large pepperoni, extra cheese, no anchovies. And where would you like Aubrey's Abominations to deliver this magnificent creation?" He rattled off an address. "It's 123 Main Street, Apartment B, 3rd floor. Make sure you ring twice, and I want it hot, you hear?" "Hot and fast, consider it done," I chirped, making a mental note of the utterly normal, non-fictional address. "That'll be $35 payable upon delivery, and just so you know, our special tonight is a free side of existential dread with every order." "Just bring the pizza," he grumbled, and I heard a click. I hung up, a strange mix of exhilaration and disbelief washing over me. I'd actually done it. I'd taken a fake pizza order from some random, incredibly persistent person. The phone was finally silent. I immediately messaged my study group chat, half laughing, half furious. "You guys will not believe what just happened," I typed, already picturing their faces. They thought it was hilarious. They still bring it up sometimes, especially when we order actual pizza. "Don't forget the existential dread, Aubrey," they'll joke. It was a bizarre, maddening few hours that day, a total waste of my precious study time. But honestly, it made for a damn good story, and that, my friends, is almost as satisfying as acing a torts exam. Almost.
Liking the vibe so far? Hit that subscribe button and stick around, the next story's even better.
"Excuse me, ma'am." Papa's voice cut through the grocery store din, calm but with an unmistakable edge that usually meant business. "You need to stop touching my grandson." Too late. The woman, a blur of frantic energy and indignant rage, ignored him completely. Her foot shot out, connecting with my shin for the second time. A sharp, searing pain bloomed up my leg. "Oh, for crying out loud," I yelled, my voice cracking with a mix of shock and pure, unadulterated fury. My job interview suit shirt, pressed and crisp just an hour ago, felt like it was about to rip from the tension in my shoulders. What is your problem? Okay, folks, Cameron here, and let me tell you, if anyone ever tells you grocery shopping can't be an extreme sport, point 'em my way, because today, at good old Wally World, it absolutely was. My papa, bless his 86-year-old heart, and I were on our monthly mega shop. It's usually a pretty chill affair, a solid 4 hours of strategic aisle navigation and dad jokes. Today, however, was anything but. I was actually feeling pretty good too, fresh off a job interview, still rocking my good impression outfit, nice blue dress shirt, my favorite jeans and polished shoes. I thought I looked sharp, ready to conquer the world, or at least the canned goods aisle. We were barely 20 minutes in when I first spotted her. A woman in a floral print monstrosity weaving through the carts like she was trying to win a gold medal in competitive shopping. She looked stressed, harried, and generally like she was having a truly awful day. I actually stepped back, giving her space to zip past me near the produce. That's when she veered, not around me, but into me. Before I could even register what was happening, her hand clamped onto my arm, a surprisingly strong grip, and she started pulling, hard. Like I was a stubborn cart or a child refusing to move. My first reaction was pure, unadulterated shock. I jolted, instinctively trying to yank my arm free from her iron grip. Whoa there, lady. That's one way to get a guy's attention. I tried for a light, humorous tone, hoping to diffuse whatever bizarre interaction this was. I even managed a nervous chuckle. She didn't chuckle back, not even a little. Her eyes, magnified by chunky glasses, narrowed into angry slits. My attention? She squealed, her voice high and reedy. You think this is funny? You're harassing me. Now, give me your name and your employee number. I'm going to report you. I blinked. My employee number? I looked down at my crisp blue shirt. No name tag, no Wally World logo, nothing. Ma'am, I think you've got me confused with someone else. I just came from a job interview. I'm just trying to buy some milk. I even gestured vaguely to my clothes. She wasn't listening. Her grip on my arm tightened, twisting slightly. Don't you lie to me. I saw you eyeing me earlier. You think you can just get away with bothering customers, do you? I demand your name and number now. My patience, already thin from the job interview jitters, began to fray. Look, lady, I don't work here. I'm just trying to get some groceries with my grandpa. You need to let go of my arm. I tried to gently disengage. That's when it happened. She kicked me. A sharp, unexpected blow just below my knee. It wasn't a full-force assault, but it was enough to sting, enough to make me stumble back a step, releasing her grip. I stared at her, utterly dumbfounded. My jaw actually dropped. Are you serious right now? I finally managed to sputter, a wave of incredulous pain washing over me. My carefully maintained composure from the job interview vanished in a puff of smoke. This was when Papa, who had been pushing our cart just a few feet away, rolled into action. His 86 years might have slowed his steps, but his mind was as sharp as ever. He pulled up beside me, his eyes fixed on the woman. Excuse me, ma'am, he repeated, his voice low and firm, but you need to stop touching my grandson. The woman's head snapped towards Papa, her face a mask of outrage. Don't you dare defend him. He's harassing me. And you, she pointed a bony finger at Papa, are probably his supervisor, aren't you? You're both going to be fired. Before I could even respond to that insane accusation, she launched her second kick. Straight for my shin again. That's when I lost it. Hey lady, I practically bellowed, the pain and frustration boiling over. I don't know who you think you are, but you're assaulting me. Back off. You think I work here because I'm wearing a blue shirt? The woman recoiled slightly, probably surprised by my outburst. Her eyes darted around, looking for an escape, or maybe an ally. That's when she spotted him, a young guy in a red Wally World vest, just a few aisles down, restocking paper towels. Help! Help me! She shrieked, pointing dramatically at me. This man is harassing me. He won't leave me alone. He needs to be disciplined. The employee, startled by the commotion, slowly made his way over, a look of utter bewilderment on his face. He glanced at me, then at the furious woman, then back at my perfectly ununiformed blue dress shirt. He stopped a few feet from her, a slight frown on his face. Ma'am? He asked, clearly confused. I'm sorry, but I don't actually work at Wally World. I work for the Pepsi vendor. My uniform is red." He gestured to his own vest, which was indeed a vibrant red, clearly distinct from the store's blue. A beat of stunned silence. I couldn't help it. A snort of laughter escaped me, quickly followed by a full-blown guffaw. Papa next to me let out a deep, booming laugh that echoed through the aisle. The woman's face went from furious red to a pale, mottled purple. She gaped at the vendor, then at me, then back at Papa, who was still chortling softly, shaking his head. She opened her mouth as if to speak, but no words came out. The jig was well and truly up. "See?" I managed to say between gasps of laughter, still rubbing my throbbing shin. "Told ya, I was just a regular guy, just trying to buy some groceries." Papa clapped me on the shoulder, a proud smile on his face. "That's right, son," he said, still chuckling. "Just a regular guy. And I'm just an old man who's proud of his grandson, even if he does get kicked in the shins." The woman, finally realizing the extent of her blunder, mumbled something unintelligible, snatched her floral-patterned purse, and power-walked away, disappearing into the shampoo aisle, leaving behind only the lingering scent of desperation and regret. We finished our shopping, exchanging knowing glances and quiet chuckles throughout the rest of the store. My shin still ached, but the sting was dulled by the sheer absurdity of it all. As we loaded the car, Papa leaned over, a mischievous glint in his eye. "You know, Cameron," he said, "maybe next time you should wear a vest, a bright, neon pink one, just to make sure there's no confusion." I just shook my head, smiling. Some days you're the hero, some days you're the victim, and some days you're just a guy in a blue shirt, getting kicked by a lady who thinks you work at Wally World. You just gotta laugh and move on. Until next time, folks, keep your shins protected and always double-check the uniform. You never know who you're actually dealing with.
My stomach dropped. Not just a metaphorical plummet, but a genuine ice-cold knot in my gut. I was sitting there, a freshly brewed coffee long forgotten, trying to process the words that hung in the air like a bad smell. Our hiring manager, usually a whirlwind of optimistic energy, looked like someone had just told her the T-Rex exhibit was being replaced by a petting zoo. The CEO, typically as stone-faced as a trilobite fossil, let out a short, incredulous bark of laughter. And then my boss, Mr. Henderson, cleared his throat, adjusting his tie with an air of uncomfortable finality. "Jensen," he said, his eyes not quite meeting mine, "that extraordinary tour guide you were raving about, the one who captivated 40 people last Friday? The girl we were just about to offer a contract to." He paused, a muscle twitching in his jaw. "She's 16. It all started simply enough, a week earlier. I'm Jensen, and I used to be a teacher's aide at a natural history museum. My job mostly involved making sure kids didn't lick the fossils and trying to make science sound marginally less boring than their textbooks. I was pretty good at it, actually. My horrible dinosaur puns were legendary, at least to me. This particular Friday, I was sketching a rather majestic stegosaurus skeleton, half listening to the murmurs of a school group nearby, when this girl, let's call her Maya, drifted over. She couldn't have been much older than my younger sister, maybe 16 or 17, with a bright, curious glint in her eyes. She had 2 younger kids, probably her siblings, who clung to her, equally fascinated. "Excuse me," she began, her voice clear and surprisingly confident. "Is this definitely a stegosaurus? Because its plates look a bit off, like they're not quite symmetrical with what I remember from the textbooks." I blinked. Most people asked, "Is that a T-Rex?" I launched into my spiel about osteoderms and differing fossil records, and how paleontologists debate the exact arrangement. As I spoke, Maya listened, utterly absorbed, her younger companions gazing up at her, then at me, then back at the dinosaur. Then she asked another question, and another. She wasn't just asking for information, she was probing, making connections, her mind clearly buzzing. Her passion was infectious. Soon, a few other museum-goers started to drift closer, drawn in by her intelligent questions and my admittedly fantastic explanations. I was in my element. But then something shifted. Maya wasn't just asking questions anymore. She was responding to my answers, adding her own insights, pointing things out to her siblings that made their eyes light up. Before I knew it, she was leading the conversation, weaving together facts about bone density and predator-prey relationships, making it sound like an epic saga. I found myself chiming in with the occasional terrible pun, "He's just rexing his case," and she'd laugh, a genuine delighted sound, and the kids would giggle. Within an hour, we had amassed an audience of about 40 people. 40? They followed us. No, they followed her. From the Stegosaurus to the Triceratops, then over to the giant sloth, completely enthralled. Maya was a natural-born storyteller, her hands gesturing, her voice full of wonder. She didn't just know facts, she understood the narrative of science, the grand story of life on Earth. I was basically just an enthusiastic sidekick, dropping bad jokes and basking in the reflected glow of her brilliance. I couldn't help but feel incredibly proud, like I'd somehow enabled this incredible impromptu learning experience. The kids, hers and others, were having an absolute blast. When the museum finally closed, Maya and her little crew waved goodbye, their faces flushed with excitement. I felt a sense of exhilaration, knowing I'd been part of something special. The next Monday, the whispers started. "Did you hear about that amazing young woman on Friday? She practically ran a whole tour." Someone mentioned it to my direct supervisor, who then asked me for details. I, of course, gushed. How could I not? This girl had talent. Genuine, undeniable talent. I didn't think anything of it beyond a cool story to tell my friends. Turns out, the whispers made their way all the way up to our hiring manager, a woman named Ms. Davies. She was always on the lookout for new talent, especially for our educational outreach programs. She heard my enthusiastic account and apparently got quite excited. She saw dollar signs and glowing reviews. I saw a kid making science cool. Same difference, I guess. She immediately set up a meeting with Mr. Henderson and the CEO, eager to show them her latest find. Then came the call. Maya was asked to come in for a meeting with her boss at the museum. She probably thought she was in trouble for taking over my tour, or maybe just confused. So she goes, thinking it's just about Friday. And that's when the bomb dropped. Ms. Davies, all smiles and anticipation, launched into how impressed she was, how Maya had single-handedly captivated an audience, how she clearly had a knack for engaging both kids and adults. She practically offered her a job on the spot as a junior tour guide, right there in front of her boss and the CEO. Maya, probably blushing and trying to be modest, must have just stood there, a bright-eyed kid. And then Mr. Henderson, bless his rule-abiding heart, had to ruin everything. He cleared his throat, a sound that always meant trouble. "Ms. Davies," he began, "while I appreciate your enthusiasm, there's a slight problem. Our applicant, Maya, well, she's only 16. The air went out of the room like a deflated balloon. Ms. Davies' face, which had been beaming just moments before, crumpled. Her mouth opened and closed a few times, a fish out of water. The CEO, Mr. Aubrey, who had been listening with an amused smirk, let out that short, incredulous laugh I heard later, more a sound of "Are you kidding me?" than genuine humor. 16, MS. Davies finally managed to squeak, the word laced with bitter disappointment. She knew the labor laws, she knew the insurance policies, she knew the budget limitations for minors. All her grand plans dashed in an instant. She stood up abruptly, a frustrated sigh escaping her lips, and practically stormed out, muttering something about bureaucratic nonsense. Mr. Albright, still chuckling softly, just shook his head. He looked at Maya, who must have been mortified, and said, "Well, kid, that was quite the show. Don't try to do that again, all right?" He wasn't being mean, just practical. Amused by the absurdity of the situation. Her boss then formally told her she couldn't accept the offer, of course, and then, with a softer tone, warned her to maybe stay away from the Natural History Museum for a bit. It wasn't a ban, not really. More like, "You're too good, kid, and you're causing trouble for our hiring process by being so brilliant but so young." So that's the story. Maya didn't get the job. But in a weird way, her passion and her ability to turn a dull Friday afternoon into a genuine adventure made her a legend among the staff. For weeks, people would whisper about the 16-year-old tour guide, and they'd repeat the same horrible dinosaur puns I'd thrown out that day, just to try and recapture a bit of that magic. It's not always about the age or the qualifications, is it? Sometimes it's just about that raw, unadulterated passion and the ability to make others feel it too. And who knows, maybe one day you'll accidentally become a legend yourself. Just try not to break any HR rules while you're at it.
Don't miss this next video, it's a good follow-up.